Raksha Mantri makes a sudden stopover in Tehran while returning from Russia, meets Iranian Defense Minister. The visit is being considered strategically significant in view of the changing dynamics in West Asia. In a move towards return to normalcy in operations, Indian Railways to run additional 40 pairs of special trains from 12th of September, booking to start from 10th September, metro operations to resume from tomorrow in a phased manner. Daily number of COVID-19 recoveries in the country crosses 70,000, while cumulative recoveries witness exponential rise from 50,000 in May to 32 lakh in September, over 10 lakh 90,000 samples tested in the last 24 hours. Health Ministry exhorts three worst affected states Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka to focus on undertaking aggressive measures to break the chain of transmission. States asked to keep mortality rate below 1%. Narcotics Control Bureau summons Rhea in Sushant Singh Rajput case, agency to grill Rhea over drugs case linked to the death of her partner. In the US Open, Indo-Canadian pair of Rohan Bopanna and Denis Shapovalov reach men's doubles quarterfinals, beat German pair of Kevin Krawitz and Andreas Mies to keep India's hopes alive in the Grand Slam. Serena Williams reaches the fourth round of women's singles. Good morning. You're watching DD News and I'm Preeti presenting the bulletin. Our top story first. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh met with Iranian Defense Minister Brigadier General Amir Hatami in Tehran yesterday. Late night, both the leaders discussed bilateral cooperation and regional situation. India on Friday said that it was deeply concerned about the situation in the Persian Gulf and called upon the countries in the region to resolve their differences by dialogue based on mutual respect. In his address at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Defense Ministers Meet, Defense Minister Rajnath Singh called upon countries in the region, all of which are dear and friendly to India, to resolve differences by dialogue based on mutual respect, sovereignty and non-interference in the internal affairs of each other. And to talk more about it, our correspondent Sudhir is joining us. Sudhir, we've told our viewers about the sudden stopover of Raksha Mantri in Iran, and he met the Iranian defense minister. Talk more and give us a gist about the meeting.
बिल्कुल प्रीति, देखिए जिस तरीके से एससीओ से वापस आते हुए ये एक स्टॉप ओवर रक्षा मंत्री ने लिया है तेहरान में, काफी अहम है, न केवल भारत और ईरान के रिश्तों के लिहाज से बल्कि जो रीजन है, रीजनल स्टेबिलिटी के लिहाज से भी जिस तरीके से रक्षा मंत्री ने एससीओ के फोरम पे साफ तौर पर इस तरीके से चिंता जताई थी कि जो क्षेत्र में स्थिति को लेकर चिंता जताई थी और जो सभी देशों से ये आग्रह किया था कि आपस में बैठकर एक दूसरे की मामलों में हस्तक्षेप बिना किए जो अपने आप की जो मामले हैं उनको सुलझाएं, तो ये इस पर चिंता व्यक्त थी। लेकिन अगर खास तौर पर इंडिया के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में अगर इसको हम देखें तो जो हमारे कनेक्टिविटी प्रोजेक्ट है चाबहार को लेकर है, उसको लेकर किस तरीके से और चीजें बेहतरी की ओर बढ़ सकती हैं, इसके अलावा जो बायलैटरल कोऑपरेशन है उसको लेकर कैसे आगे बढ़ा जा सकता है, वो एक बेहतर इस चीज में दोनों जो रक्षा मंत्री हैं उसको लेकर डिस्कशन हुआ है। लेकिन और इसके अलावा भी जिस तरीके से चाइना की तरफ से भी कोशिश की जा रही थी कि ईरान को लेकर कुछ चीजें लगातार वो कोशिश कर रहा था डिप्लोमेटिक तरीके से, उसको लेकर भी ये खासा अहम माना जा रहा है कि रक्षा मंत्री का ये दौरा और जिस तरीके से हाल ही में एलएसी पर जिस तरीके से तनाव रहे हैं, जिस तरीके से जो स्थिति रही है उसको लेकर जिस तरीके से भारत रीच आउट कर रहा है, उसके लिहाज से भी खासा अहम है क्योंकि एससीओ के इतर भी रक्षा मंत्री ने जो विभिन्न देशों के एससीओ मेंबर्स के जो रक्षा मंत्री हैं उनके साथ बायलैटरल मीटिंग की है, वो खासा अहम है। और जिस तरीके से चाइनीज जो रक्षा मंत्री हैं उनके साथ मीटिंग में भारत की स्थिति को स्पष्ट किया है साफ तौर पर, और बल्कि ये भी कहा है कि बातचीत के लिए हम तैयार हैं, लेकिन स्टेटस को की स्थिति जो है वो पूरी तरह से रहेगी, वो चीन को मानना होगा। तो जाहिर तौर पर अभी की अगर स्थिति देखें तो न केवल एससीओ के मंच पर भारत ने अपनी बहुत दमदार उपस्थिति दर्ज कराई है, चीन को साफ शब्दों में एक कड़ा संदेश दिया है कि देखिए आप बातचीत से चीजों को हल किया जा सकता है, लेकिन इस तरीके से जो अनवांटेड जो घटनाएं हो रही हैं उनको बिल्कुल रोका जाना चाहिए, ये साफ तौर पर है। और इसके बाद से तेहरान में रक्षा मंत्री पहुंचे हैं और अपने काउंटर पार्ट से बात की। ये एक रीजनल लिहाज से जिस तरीके से भारत रीच आउट कर रहा है वो खासा अहम है, और खास तौर पे जो दोनों देशों के रिश्ते हैं उसके लेकर खाता अहम है। प्रीति,
all right, Sudhir, thank you so much for joining us with those inputs. That was our correspondent Sudhir telling us more about the importance of the meeting which the defence minister had with his Iranian counterpart. Let's get to other news. The Indian Railways on Saturday announced to run 40 pairs of new special trains from September 12th, reservation for which will begin from 10th of September. Now these will be running in addition to the 230 trains already in operation. We get you more in this report. Unlock 4 unfolds gradually. The Indian Railways have come up with a decision to start 80 new special trains. Trains are the first choice for Indian passengers who wish to travel to different parts of the country, as they are the most convenient and smooth option for them. The COVID-19 pandemic, however, has left the passengers waiting for their favorite mode of travel for a long time now. Millions of Indian Railways employees have proved to be corona warriors, as they made it possible for the railways to run even in the lockdown period in a limited manner. The Indian Railways have brought good news for passengers with the announcement of 40 pairs of new special trains that are set to run from September 12th. This was announced by Railways Minister Piyush Goyal via a tweet, along with a list of trains that will be running. The 80 new special trains will be fully reserved, bookings for which will begin from 10th of this month. These special trains will be connecting various parts of the country, including Dehradun, Ajmer, Jaipur, Jabalpur, Prayagraj, Bhagalpur, Gorakhpur, Gwalior, Muzaffarpur. Earlier, the railways had begun running 30 Rajdhani special trains that started from the 12th of May this year. While 200 special mail express trains are already on tracks since June 1st, Indian Railways made efforts to make the path easier for the passengers. Apart from this, in centre's bid to ferry stranded migrant workers to their native states during COVID-19 lockdown, Indian Railways also started special Shramik trains on the occasion of Labour Day from 1st of May and transported lakhs of workers to their homes. With the operation of cargo parcel trains, the railways also set a record in the lockdown period by transporting life-saving medicines and essential items across the country. With Bureau inputs, Rajesh Raj's report, DD India. After almost 5 months shut down due to coronavirus pandemic, metro services will resume across the country from tomorrow. In a graded resumption of Delhi Metro, the services will be done in line-wise with specific timings in 3 stages between tomorrow and September 12th. The yellow line from Samepur Badli to Huda City Centre will be operational from tomorrow. Blue line from Dwarka to Noida Electronic City or Vaishali, and pink line from Majlis Park to Shiv Vihar will resume from September 9th. While red, green and violet lines will resume from September 10th. Services on Airport Express line will resume on 12th September. In the first stage, Delhi Metro services will operate in 2 shifts, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. In the second stage, the timings, both morning and evening, will be increased to 6 hours each. Finally, in the third stage, metro services will operate from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. Now, according to the guidelines by the Delhi Metro Rail Corporation, the stations in containment zones would remain closed. Only asymptomatic people will gain entry, and then they will be under a hawk-eyed vigil on wearing masks and keeping distance. No tokens will be issued and only smart cards will work. Inside coaches too, strict social distancing will apply and masks need to be in place. The services of the Noida to Greater Noida Metro, also known as the Aqua Line, will also undertake several anti-COVID precautions like commuters maintaining social distancing and having face covers in place. Further, strict penalties will be imposed, including a fine of ₹500 on commuters found travelling without face masks. Those caught spitting will have to pay ₹100 for the first time and ₹500 as fine for any subsequent occurrence. And Bengaluru Namma Metro will resume services on the Purple Line from tomorrow. New safety guidelines on social distancing and various other measures have been adopted to ensure that the metro ride remains safe for commuters. The trains will be operating between 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. until September 11, after which trains will run from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. On the other hand, Green Line from Nagasandra to Yela-Chenahali will resume services only on September 9th. Hyderabad Metro will resume its operations in a graded manner between tomorrow and September 9th. The stations falling under containment zones, that is Gandhi Hospital, Bharat Nagar, Musapet, Murshidabad and Yusufgura, will continue to remain shut. Face masks, social distancing, thermal screening, alternate seating, hand sanitizing, etc. are going to be the new normals at the stations. Now, as per the SOPs released by the Hyderabad Metro Rail Limited, only asymptomatic people will be allowed inside metro stations, and anyone with slight symptoms will be referred to the nearest COVID care center or hospital for testing and medical attention. Smart cards and mobile QR ticket with cashless or online transactions will be encouraged. Ahmedabad Metro will also resume operations as the train will run for 6.5 kilometers tomorrow and day after. The first train will kick-start operations at 11 a.m. while the second ride will start at 4:25 p.m. Now, this sort of a trial run by the officials before they start full-fledged operations, and all the SOPs will be followed during the trial and full-fledged runs. Now, restricted services on the first 2 days is to examine that all precautionary systems related to COVID-19 are in place and if passengers are following rules related to masks and social distancing. Wearing masks is compulsory and failure in doing so will invite a fine. Trains will also be sanitized after every trip and the commuters will be given sanitized tokens. And up next, an update on COVID-19 situation from across the country. 73,642 recoveries were recorded yesterday, taking the cumulative total of recovered patients to 31,80,865. Now, with this, the recovery rate currently stands at 77.32%. Due to aggressive testing, the fatality rate has dropped to 1.72%. So far, 70,626 patients have died due to the virus. The number of active COVID-19 cases in the country stand at 8,62,320, which is 20.96% of the total cases reported so far. Meanwhile, according to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, responsive, collaborative and effective measures right from early identification through aggressive testing to efficient tracking and comprehensive treatment have collectively led to these encouraging outcomes. There has been a steep exponential rise in COVID-19 recoveries, that is from 50,000 in May to 30 lakh in September. The daily number of recovered patients has crossed 70,000. More than 3/4 of the total cases have recovered. Also, according to the ICMR, a total of 4,88,31,145 samples were tested so far. Out of these, 10,92,654 samples were tested yesterday. On to some other COVID-related stories. The central government has exhorted Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka to focus on breaking the chain of COVID-19 transmission and keeping the mortality rate below 1%. The states have been advised to proactively ensure higher testing, effective clinical management to lower fatality rate and also save lives along with efficient monitoring at various levels. Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka account for about 46% of the active cases reported nationally over the last 24 hours. Maharashtra alone accounts for 22% of all the active cases. Similarly, these three states account for 52% of all COVID deaths reported across the country over the last 24 hours. Maharashtra alone accounted for 35% of all the deaths reported in the last 24 hours. The Union Home Ministry also highlighted the districts of concern in each state. 11 districts in Maharashtra were highlighted where the need for effective containment and contact tracing was emphasized. In Andhra Pradesh, 2 districts of concern were highlighted while 4 districts were highlighted in Karnataka. In cumulative terms, 5 states account for more than 60% of the total active cases in the country. Maharashtra contributes maximum to the active case load, followed by Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. Of the total deaths in the country, 70% are recorded in just 5 states of Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Delhi and Andhra Pradesh. President Ramnath Kovind and Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the inaugural session of the Governors' Conference on National Education Policy tomorrow through video conference. The conference, titled Role of NEP 2020, that is the National Education Policy in Transforming Higher Education, is being organized by the Union Education Ministry. National Education Policy 2020 is directed towards major reforms in both school and higher education level. The policy strives for making India into an equitable and vibrant knowledge society. It envisions an India-centered education system that contributes directly to transforming India into a global superpower. The comprehensive transformation aimed that the policy will bring about a paradigm shift in the country's education system and create an enabling and reinvigorated educational ecosystem for a new Aatmanirbhar Bharat envisaged by Prime Minister Modi. Education ministers of all the states, vice chancellors of states, universities and other senior officials will also attend the conference. In the drug trafficking case connected to Sushant Singh Rajput's death case, members of the actor's personal staff, Dipesh Sawant and Abdul Basit Parihar, were taken to court by Narcotics Control Bureau officials today morning. They were produced before the court after the medical examination. Dipesh was arrested yesterday, while Parihar was arrested earlier for their role in procuring and handling of drugs. Meanwhile, the NCB team reached actress Rhea Chakravarti's home in Mumbai today morning to serve her summons for joining the probe in the drugs case. The agency has said that it wants to question Rhea, the main accused in the case, to take the probe forward. Now, according to the agency, it is up to Rhea to come on her own or with the team. The NCB recently arrested her younger brother Shoubik Chakravarti and Rajput's house manager Samuel Miranda in this case.
उसको अब तक जो हम लोगों ने कस्टडी में जो लोगों को लिया है, दैट सावंत इज गिवन, तो उससे क्रॉस क्वेश्चनिंग किया जाएगा और कुछ नहीं है, आउटकम भी कम्युनिकेट.
The pontiff of Edir Mutt, Swami Keshavanand Bharati, attained Samadhi at Kasaragod in Kerala. He was 79 years of age. Kesavananda Bharati's case against land reforms of Kerala government helped to define the basic rights under the constitution. The case challenging the Constitution 29th Amendment Act of 1972 questioned the Kerala government's move to take over the Mutt property. In a landmark judgment, the Constitution bench of the Supreme Court ruled that Parliament cannot alter the basic structure of the Constitution. A patron of education, culture and arts, he had contributed immensely for Kannada in the border district of Kasaragod. Kesavanand Bharati was heading the Edir Mutt since 1961. The trial run of the newly opened inland river route from Dotkandi in Bangladesh to Sonmura in Tripura was successfully completed yesterday. The newly opened 93 kilometers long route on River Gomti marks another major step in enhancing connectivity between India and Bangladesh. Chief Minister of Tripura, Biplab Kumar Deb, and High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh, Reva Ganguly Das, were present on the occasion to receive the vessel at Sonmura in Tripura, which carried 50 metric tons of cement from Bangladesh to India. 7 people were killed after their van collided head-on with a trailer in Bhilwara district of Rajasthan. The accident occurred near Kesarpura, which comes under the jurisdiction of Bijolia police station, on Saturday night when the victims were on their way to Bhilwara from Kota, the police informed. The bodies were shifted to a local hospital and would be handed over to the family members after post-mortem, they added. Delhi's Hazrat Nizamuddin Aulia Dargah is reopening today. The Dargah is opening after 5 months after several precautionary measures as part of the government's Unlock 4 guidelines. Amidst COVID-19 concerns, there will be no touching of the graves of Hazrat Nizamuddin Aulia and Amir Khusro in the Dargah courtyard or soaking in the magic of Qawwali nights. The caretakers of the Dargah will ensure that norms like wearing masks, using sanitizers and social distancing are strictly followed. To ensure social distancing amongst the devotees, markings have been made on the floor, while separate entry and exit points have been fixed too in the Dargah. And world is suffering from COVID-19 pandemic. There are a total of 2,70,42,955 cases of COVID-19 worldwide, while 8,82,985 people have died of the virus. 1,91,46,341 patients have recovered so far. US is the worst affected country by corona, according to Worldometer, after 40,543 new cases of COVID were reported in the last 24 hours. The total tally of the cases reached to 64,29,600 in the US. In the last 24 hours, 706 people died and 1,92,817 patients have lost their lives so far in the US from COVID-19. And Brazil ranks second in terms of COVID infection after more than 31,000 new cases in the last 24 hours. The total cases have reached to 41,23,000. Total 1,26,203 people have lost their lives, with 619 deaths in the last 24 hours. Let's get to sports news now. In the US Open, Rohan Bopanna entered the quarterfinals of men's doubles, keeping India's hopes alive at the Grand Slam. Indo-Canadian pair of Rohan Bopanna and Denis Shapovalov beat German pair of Kevin Krawitz and Andreas Mais to reach men's doubles quarterfinals in New York. After losing the first set, Bopanna-Shapovalov made brilliant comeback to beat the pair for 6-4, 6-3. Earlier, Bopanna and his Canadian partner advanced to the second round after a straight set win over American rivals Ernesto Escobedo and Noah Rubin in their tournament opener on Friday. Bopanna is the lone surviving Indian candidate in the tournament after the exits of Sumit Nagal and Divic Sharan. In the women's singles, Serena Williams came back from a slow start to beat Sloane Stephens 2-6, 6-2, 6-2 in the US Open's third round. Now she will face number 15 Maria Sakkari of Greece in the fourth round. The Union Sports Ministry has extended the contract of 9 foreign coaches and support personnel, including High Performance Director of Athletics, with an eye on the 2024 Olympics and Commonwealth Asian Games 2022. In July, the ministry had decided to draw up extended contracts for foreign and Indian coaches in alignment with the Olympic cycle. Now, this decision was taken by the ministry with focus on 2024 and 2028 Olympics, and to ensure Olympic-bound athletes are able to train consistently with one coach and therefore work on improving their performance. The performance of the coaches will be reviewed annually, indicated by the performance of the athletes in major international events. That's it in this edition of the News This Hour. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.